Hello, my name is Lena, I am a creator, and today we will see how images are created in the MidJourney neural network, also how to animate them and with which tools this is done. I will talk about the stages of work, share my life hacks and secrets, and in the next video we will go over how and with what tools we can work with real products. I will show you how to create an expensive selling visual.
First of all, I would like to explain what MidJourney is. MidJourney is a neural network that creates images based on a text request or prompt. We write the prompt in the query line primarily in English. Yes, the neural network has recently started to understand Russian, but
in general, it's best to use English to more accurately describe what you want and for the neural network to understand you precisely. That's my recommendation, so to speak. We can use various translation services. Yes, you can translate using ChatGPT. That's also a neural network we have, either using the DeepL translator. However, DeepL and ChatGPT in Russia only work with a VPN, so keep that in mind. So what can be created with this neural network? You can create a huge variety of different styles, carry out commercial projects using this neural network. Yes, create very cool visuals in completely different styles. And you can now see on the MidJourney page, on the main page of MidJourney, generations from all over the world, yes, from people. And you can notice how different the styles are, how different the directions are, how different the generations turn out. And this is very cool because it is a huge field of possibilities. You can create absolutely any commercial projects in any style. Of course, the neural network has limitations, 18 plus. We cannot accordingly create on sexual themes, violence, and so on. The neural network prohibits doing this. Therefore, we do not do it to avoid being blocked by the neural network. So, in general, what methods and life hacks do I use in my work to create some cool generations? First of all, of course, you need to develop an eye for things and constantly observe who is creating what, analyze the prompts they use, and so on. For example, I always write prompts myself. Or, for example, I can, of course, quickly write some prompt in GPT chat, but that's only for some technical task, commercial work, and so on. As a rule, for myself and for some creative projects, I don't write prompts using GPT chat. In general, I recommend developing, so to speak, your thinking in this direction. Of course, this path will be much shorter if you take some courses and so on. But in any case, my advice to you is to develop your observation skills, analyze what other people create, the prompts they use, and then create your own unique things.
Want to learn how to create stunning videos and images with AI? Then my courses are exactly for you. We dive into MidJourney, animation, video, and creative projects. Everything you need to feel confident in AI creativity. And it's not just theory. You'll get plenty of practice, feedback, and support. Click the link I left in the description and join the course. Let's start creating together.
So the very first function I would like to show you for creating images is the describe function. The describe function can amusingly help you with phrasing. What is the describe function? Describe describes the image you send it. Right now, I will send my own generation to review, so to speak. If we upload a photo from your device and so on, or from your MidJourney, you will see this describe function. What is it for? You can, for example, create a prompt using MidJourney. Yes, MidJourney will analyze the image itself and accordingly create 4 prompts based on the image you sent. And if we press this button, it sends all 4 prompts for generation. And most importantly, probably for beginners, I would like to say that you should definitely read the prompts that MidJourney creates, yes, and analyze the principle by which it creates them. In general, according to the rules of creating a prompt, we should, so to speak, go from the important to the less important. That is, first write down the details that are critically important to us, right? And then describe everything else. So there was this image that I created myself. It was just some creative ideas, some kind of surrealism.
Here. And accordingly, based on this photo, it created 4 prompts, and so we received them, generated them. That is, of course, it's extremely rare to get some cool generations.
But some prompts or some photos have the potential to be developed into a more interesting story. So what do I usually do? I usually read the prompt. I change the request, right? I change some data. So how can we improve this generation, right? If you like the image, you can take the prompt you like, so to speak, and use it, right? Choose your own ratio, for example, 3:4. This format is most often used for Instagram posts, and then try to play around with it. I will not translate it now or change anything, any stories, right? I will show how, so to speak, at this stage to try to diversify a little. So we have a query string yes and functions in MidJourney that we can use to, let's say, enhance our creativity, so to speak, in this image. I most often use this reference in my images. It was a picture taken from somewhere on the internet, and then, so to speak, a girl was generated based on those images that I liked on the internet. And accordingly, I use her in my works. This is most often, and I also use it. I really love to use it. Another one of my works that I often use in my generations is this style reference. I add this reference to see what will come out. So look, we had a prompt just created using describe, right? We didn't change anything at all. I liked these images. We didn't change anything at all and just added one reference to it, right? And look how these images have already come to life, right?
But here I have my personalization enabled, of course. Let's try to do the same thing, but without my personalization and see how the image changes. Here I added this reference, if it loads, of course.
Yes, this is also my work. Look, see what cool and interesting images came out. So in this way, you can, for example, improve your generation, right? With the help of some interesting references that you created at some point, right? Most often, how does the creation of a reference for a reference happen, so to speak, right? So first, for example, I go to Pinterest, study works, look at what I like, save it, run it through Describe, and change the prompt to what I like. And then accordingly, by using different parameters in the prompt, I create my own unique generation, right? Attaching different references, attaching, for example, using my mood boards or profiles in, say, personalization in MidJourney. So here, for example, is what happens if we don't use my personalization, right? Also very cool, interesting works come out, right? Look, it seems the prompt was taken just from describe. We didn't change anything at all, but how great this work turned out. So imagine what you can do with the work if you adjust the prompt, adjust the references or parameters and so on. Let's try to add a couple of functions to this prompt. Let's add a little chaos. What does chaos do? Chaos adds variety to the generations created here. That is, one generation is not similar to another. So the exp parameter adds something, does something interesting, adds here, and these are oddities. Let's look at these indicators with my personalization and without my personalization. Compare the data with the failures. That is, in this way, we are gradually trying to build the work. First, we create, for example, a reference for our own work. Then we, for example, next we create a prompt, for example, using ChatGPT, or you can think independently about what you want, what kind of frame you want to create, writing from the main to the less main, right? And to the less important. And based on this, create your images, attach references, and play with different parameters in the prompt. This way you can arrive at some interesting, unusual works. So look, yes, we added, it turns out, strangeness, chaos, something unusual for it to create for us. And look how cool it turns out in the end, right? With my profile, with my personalization, and without my personalization. So this is quite very interesting works, I want to tell you. That is very unusual work. It's a bit not my style of work. Here, that is, I would like to create something unusual, but still in my own style with my, so to speak, worldview. There. And of course, later we can animate these generations. But how can we animate them? With the help of MidJourney itself. But naturally, we also use different neural networks, such as Clean, Higgs field, and so on, right? So, for example, we have Clean. A fairly simple request was created. With this generation, we had a trial run, so to speak, with a large text request that ChatGPT created for me. Now, if it loads, we'll see. It loads poorly during recording. No, it doesn't want to load. In short, there was a messed up generation, a messed up animation, and it's absolutely unclear what kind of nonsense came out. This project was created with the help of ChatGPT, right? And then I just wrote a simple maximum request that the rhinestones fly, she blinks, the camera zooms in on her. So, and the simple request gave a very good result, so we can observe it. So now we will create animation in MidJourney itself. That is, not long ago, MidJourney released an update, and now we have animation features available in this neural network. So when we send a picture, this field pops up. And here the first field is specifically for animation. How else can you animate? Simply by going into your own image. Automatic animation, yes, with subtle movements, how to say, and with more complex automatic movements, and you can choose yourself. So here is the onion. Well, I can't see it, my screen is just cut off. So you can write the prompt yourself, or you can let the neural network create the animation on its own. Let's choose an image that suits us best. Well, let's take this one, unfortunately. I can't see the whole picture here. Here, so we can write nothing, just give the neural network a chance. That's not the one. Just give the neural network the opportunity to animate independently. Let's choose, so to speak, the minimum. So it does something, right? And also we will try to look at high settings, compare how it applies these functions. So we also, let's try using the loop function. This is looping. I will not write prompts here. Let the neural network come up with what they will do. And a huge advantage of MidJourney is that MidJourney animates images, animate actions in a very natural way. Therefore, this is a very cool advantage among other neural networks. We also have the neural network Higgs field, which is very popular, very cool, awesome. Well, besides Klinga, which also holds its ground, there is this great neural network Higgs field. There are a large number of different functions, various presets for camera movement, and so on, where you can, so to speak, improve your knowledge and skills with the help of the neural network itself, right? For example, and here I have speak selected.
Let's scroll audit the video. There are a huge number of different neural networks added here, right? There you go.
And right here is the field where we can choose some camera movement, upload our image, or even two images, yes, based on keyframes, and accordingly see how it will animate for us. Here you can see these keywords, effects, through which the animation will proceed. You can choose additionally specify and then see what the neural network suggests for you. So let's return to MidJourney. It's still animating. In the next video, I will show you the work process, the process of creating generations. How can we create generations and make them more expensive, higher quality? I will explain the stages of work with specifically using real product examples. What tools do we have? How can we create creative visuals using neural networks? So finally, MidJourney has created the animation. Let's see what it suggests to us here. Of course, it's lagging a lot overall during the recording. So I'll insert separately and show you what it created. I'll record the screen. So this way we can see how MidJourney can coolly create animation on your works. Accordingly, if you work a little on this process, write a quality prompt, you will have very cool results, very interesting works, and you will be able to apply this tool in your commercial projects. But don't forget that there are a huge number of neural networks. In general, I believe that the most important rule is to study very deeply, study MidJourney, right? And then it will be much easier for you to work with other neural networks if you clearly understand this tool, because MidJourney has a large number of regulating functions that we can apply and with which we can create some unique works, create commercial projects, and so on. Currently, none of my work processes, of course, go without MidJourney, because we either create all the main work there and execute it, or we create a reference there and then proceed step by step to work in other neural networks. Therefore, I hope you found it useful and interesting. Join us for the next lesson that we will discuss in more detail the step-by-step process of working with real products.